Hey there, trail trekkers and tall tale seekers. You're tuned in to the 406 Life, the podcast where Montana Max, your Bigfoot buddy and outlaw gear mascot, yeah, that's me, leads you through the wild, weird, and wonderful corners of Montana. Each week we share stories, legends, and laughs from the last best place. So grab your boots and sense of adventure, because we're about to make some Montana-sized memories. This episode's powered by Outlaw Gear, where rebels get their style. Want to look legendary? Mosey over to I'mAnOutlaw.com and claim your outlaw status. Well, howdy, folks, and welcome back to the 406 Life. I'm your host, Montana Max, the only Bigfoot with a microphone, a penchant for wool socks, and a lifetime membership to the My Beard Froze Solid Club. If you're new here, don't worry. I don't bite unless you steal my jerky. If you're a return listener, hell, you already know I'll tell it like it is, no matter how wild the weather or the tale gets. Now settle in, 'cause today we're talking about Montana's most ridiculous winter weather records. Not, oh, it snowed a foot once kind of records. No, friend. We're talking about the sort of weather that makes grown men cry, tough ladies cuss, and even a Bigfoot like me wonder if I should migrate south for the winter. Let's get to it. Picture it. January 20th, 1954. Rogers Pass, up there near Helena, is so cold the trees are shivering. Now, I've seen my share of chilly nights, but this one takes the cake. The thermometer drops to minus 70 degrees. That's not a typo, 70 below zero. You ever try sneezing at 70 below? Your snot freezes midair. Ask me how I know. Here's the kicker. The thermometer they had didn't even go lower than that. For all we know, it might have gotten even colder, but the dang thing just gave up, like my cousin Larry after 2 hours of ice fishing. But listen, not all of Montana gets that cold. Most of us were tucked away in our warm dens, muttering about just another Tuesday. That's the magic of a state as wild as this. One spot's breaking world records, and 20 miles down the road, folks are grilling steaks and asking if spring's come early. Now, if you think Montana's all about frostbite and icicles on your britches, let me tell you about Loma. Little town, big claim to fame. It's January 1972, and the mercury is hanging out at minus 54. Folks in Loma are bundling up, cussing the cold, and then, wham, Chinook winds roar in like a freight train powered by hot coffee and pure spite. By the next morning, it's nearly 50 degrees above. I swear if you'd blinked, you'd have missed winter entirely. That's a 103-degree temperature swing in less than a day. I know folks say Montana weather changes fast, but even my coat was confused. I saw a rancher in Loma go from snow boots to shorts to snow boots again, all before breakfast. Those Chinook winds, they're like Mother Nature's hairdryer. Melted snowdrifts, turned icy driveways into slip and slides, and left everyone looking at their thermometers like, is this thing busted, or am I hallucinating? Need shipping, shredding, prints, or a real street address? Helena's locally owned and operated the UPS store has you covered, located at 2047 North Last Chance Gulch. Stop by and get it done right. But before Loma got famous, Browning was the king of temperature swings. Back in 1916, one January day, it's a balmy 44 degrees. Folks are almost giddy. Maybe they're outside, breathing in that fresh air, thinking about an early spring. Next morning, blam, minus 56. That's a 100-degree drop, friend. Windows exploded from the shock. Pipes burst, teeth chattered, and even the town's stray dogs started looking for heated blankets. As for me, I was out there building a snow fort when it happened. 1 minute I'm sweating, next minute I'm frozen solid mid-snowball throw. Learned that day to always pack layers, and maybe a space heater. Now some places gotta wait all day for their weather to change. Not Great Falls. January 1980, it's colder than a banker's heart. 32 below. You go inside, make yourself a pot of coffee. By the time it's done brewing, 7 minutes maybe, the temp jumps nearly 50 degrees. The Chinook winds hit so fast, rumor has it one snowman was seen running for his life, scarf trailing behind him. Folks in Great Falls must have thought they'd lost their minds. I always tell visitors, don't dress for the weather, dress for all the weather. Layer like your life depends on it, 'cause in Montana, it just might. Now y'all ever heard about the world's biggest snowflake? No joke. Back in 1887, a rancher near Fort Keogh spotted a snowflake 15 inches across and 8 inches thick. I'm telling you, that's not a snowflake, that's a dinner plate. Hell, that's a frisbee for a Sasquatch family reunion. Did anybody get a picture? Course not. This was 1887, back when cameras were as rare as a polite grizzly. But folks swear it happened, and honestly, after the weather I've seen in this state, I believe them. I gotta tell you this one. 2015, winter hits hard. Somewhere in Montana, the temp drops to -61. And up on Mars, NASA's fancy rover is reporting -33. That's right, Montana was colder than Mars. That's not just bragging, that's a universal record. I know what you're thinking. Max, what did you do? I stayed inside, of course. Even Bigfoot's gotta draw the line somewhere. And I wasn't alone. Folks posted photos of frozen beards, dogs refusing to pee outside, and cars that just gave up and decided to hibernate. Social media had a field day. Montana, colder than the red planet. If that don't make you tough, nothing will. Ready for your next Montana home? Visit mostwantedrealestate.net, because that's how the West is sold. So why do we Montanans brag about surviving this kind of nonsense? Easy. If you've made it through a Montana winter, you've earned the right to tell wild stories. There's an old saying around here. If you haven't scraped ice off your windshield with a spatula, you ain't a real Montanan. If you haven't had to decide between snow boots and flip-flops, sometimes in the same day, you ain't from around here. It's not just pride, it's survival. When you're dealing with 100-degree mood swings, snowflakes big enough to block out the sun, and wind that'll slap you silly, you learn to be tough, prepared, and just a little bit weird. We teach our kids how to drive in blizzards, how to start a fire with wet wood, and how to tell a tall tale at the dinner table. Every spring, the newcomers who moved here for the scenery look a little wild-eyed. By June, the ones that are still here, they're Montanans now, scarred, stronger, and probably with a better hat collection. Let's do a quick greatest hits for your next party trick, eh? Coldest temp in the lower 48, -70 degrees Fahrenheit at Rogers Pass. Biggest 24-hour warm-up, Loma's 103-degree leap. Fastest 7-minute jump, Great Falls. Largest snowflake, Fort Keogh, nearly 1.5 feet wide. Colder than Mars? You bet. So next time your out-of-state cousin brags about their tough winter, just raise an eyebrow and say, well, did you ever have to defrost your eyelashes twice before breakfast? All right, friends. That's all for today's walk through the wildest, weirdest, and most wonderful winter records in the Treasure State. If you enjoyed these stories, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and give the 406 Life a 5-star rating. Not just because I want folks to listen. I mean, I am trying to get Bigfoot's voice out there. But mostly so one day when someone says Bigfoot isn't real, you can say, he's real, and he's got a podcast. Share it with your friends, your neighbors, your grandma, or that one fella in town who still wears shorts in a blizzard just to prove a point. Help us spread the word, because if you survived a Montana winter, you've earned the right to brag and to listen to a hairy legend tell it straight. Stay warm, keep your sense of humor sharp, and remember, in Montana, the only thing crazier than the weather is the company you keep. This is Montana Max. Frozen beard, warm heart. Over and out. Got a Montana story, business, or unsolved mystery you want on the show? Head to the406life.com and drop me a line. No smoke signals required. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss a stomp, stumble, or tall tale. Tell your friends, tell your grandma, heck, tell that guy who swears he saw me near Whitefish. I was just buying donuts, all right? Until next time, keep it outrageous, keep it kind, and keep living the 406 life. Montana Max, over and out.
That's the